Hello, everybody. My name is ATakami, and I'll be doing my final presentation on writing my single-sex education essay and the growth that I've gone through in this English 102 course. The title of my essay is In Defense of Single-Sex Education and Its Benefits. My thesis statement is, a single-sex classroom can be a viable option for college students who have various needs to pursue their education while discovering who they are and their values. A little background information on single-sex education. The U.S. Department of Education defines education as education at the elementary, secondary, or post-secondary level in which males or females attend school exclusively with members of their own sex. According to Issues and Controversy, this was very common in the past, but in the mid-20th century, women's rights and civil rights group pushed to make all male college classes coeducational. And later on in the century, Title IX of the 1972 Federal Education Amendment banned single-sex classrooms for schools receiving federal funds, making it difficult for other institutions to practice single-sex classrooms. However, there was a revision in 2006 making restrictions more lenient of Title IX, and this sparked a revival of single-sex classrooms. However, this also sparked a lot of controversy. Proponents argued that it improved academic performance, while critics argued that it aggravated inequality. However, research is also still ongoing. This is best exemplified by the study done by Daniel Robinson, who is a professor of education at St. Francis Xavier University in Canada, who conducted a scoping article looking over 20 years of research on single-sex education. And he concludes that single-sex education can't improve academics alone, but however, can disrupt gender norms. And so, from what I could gather from the research is I argue that there are some benefits that single-sex education can provide, especially for college students who may need this kind of classroom and environment to succeed academically. And so one argument I made is that it creates a safe environment for self-discovery. What's important in choosing a career is discovery of oneself. As college students, we are always looking towards finding a career suitable for us. And so single-sex classrooms can provide a safe, accepting environment for college students to succeed academically, removing gender stereotypes and expectations. According to Sandra Smith, who is an associate professor of social studies education at Columbia University, who conducted a study on single-sex classrooms in South Carolina and observed and interviewed students throughout the school year. And what she found was that there was a different safety in these contexts and a different acceptance of these boys in their classroom as peers. That they were all boys in these classrooms together was the key attribute that defined them as boys, not the performance of masculinity. And so this would mean that it would create single-sex classrooms, create a safe environment for students to discover themselves and to create meaningful relationships based on their identity as either girl or boy. Another argument I made is that single-sex classrooms create a focused environment for education. It creates less distraction with absence of other gender for those who are more sensitive working with other genders. According to Rebecca Bayek, who is a PhD candidate at Penn State University, who conducted a study on single gender grouping perceptions of students in massive open online courses and the relevance. What she found is that the results suggest the need to consider different gender perceptions among participants and across cultures in group work for open online courses such as MOOCs that attract diverse learners. And this took place internationally. And so what this means is that it is important to consider how students perceive working with other gender as it affects collaboration. There's this need to address this and allow college students to choose and to consider what experiences they may have gone through. And so, to conclude, what's really important for a school is how they can provide to meet students' needs to achieve. And so, single sex education is just one way that opens the door for more students to succeed. And so, single sex classrooms can really provide for students who really might need the environment in order for them to focus academically, to feel safe in discovering who they are, while also pursuing academics. And so that was the conclusion of my essay, and I would just like to share a little bit of my development as a writer. And so from the beginning of this semester, I had a goal to improve clarity in my writing, as I felt I cannot convey my ideas in a way that others can understand. And so I think throughout this semester, as I was really striving to be more clear in my writing and in writing this essay, I believed I developed critical thinking skills strongly through the feedback given by my professors and from my peers. I feel this became something eye-opening and helped me to develop my own thinking and my own voice. And I believe this has become actually my strength as a writer. Something I've also learned from this course is through the writers workshop is considering the perspective of others. Hearing feedback from others helped to broaden my perspective and objectively critique my essay. And now I think through this experience, I began to value feedback. And in moving forward, I believe that I need to cultivate a judicial ownership mindset in revising and writing essays. Although I do value feedback from others, I believe that I cannot just take it as it is, but something that, again, I need to consider and need to develop a judicial mindset in what kind of feedback I take and what I actually do use and how it can actually further improve my essay and in also writing my essays. Something I also wanted to work on is a growth mindset. I believe that I am somewhat limited in my mindset and feel that I need to cultivate a more humble attitude towards my mistakes and see that through writing, I can really contribute to a discussion. And so, some things I realize I want to work on is engaging the audience. I realized when I first wrote my essay, it was difficult to engage, to come up with a good hook for the beginning, for the introduction of my essay. And I could see it after the feedback from my professor, Professor Contreras, and thinking, wow, I need to think about the audience. Another thing that I think I need to work on is also transitioning from paragraph to paragraph. I realized I was not very good at making the essay flow and making it in a way that readers can follow along because of the absence of transition sentences. And so I feel like yes, through cultivating growth mindset and I've been able to discover more about these, but I definitely know there are more things I can work on as a writer. And so yes, that is the conclusion of my presentation. And I'd like to just thank all of my uh, peers and professor for this course. And so I would like to just leave it here with this works cited. Thank you so much for listening into this presentation.